There are various ways that we identify ourselves through what we eat. For example, we are non-vegetarian, which means that we eat meat. Then there is a concept of an eggetarian, where they negate every other form of meat but only eat eggs. Then we have the pescatarians, that basically, again, no form of meat apart from seafood. You then have vegetarianism, right? The vegetarians that come in, they are about a plant-based diet, dairy-based diet. And then you have the vegans that come in. And the vegans are people who have nothing to do whatsoever with anything that comes from any source connected to an animal. So they will not even have honey because that comes from a bee. Dairy, of course, is completely out. Now, you have all these amazing ways to define your eating habits. Have you ever come across somebody called a breatharian? Somebody who does not have any form of food or any form of water and lives simply and purely and completely by oxygen, prana, light energy, and sunshine. Is that even possible? Do people like that actually exist? And how much truth is there to it? And what is the science to any of it? So human beings, very much like animals, can go out there and source their food because we're mobile. Plants, on the other hand, if you think about it, are stationary beings, right? So they have their roots that go deep into the soil, and they have their leaves out there that are absorbing, water molecules, and they have sunshine. And there's the whole process of photosynthesis, which we are all aware about. How is it that a plant takes a water molecule and a carbon dioxide molecule and create a food molecule? It does it via the sun. And sun plays a key important role in the process of photosynthesis. Now, considering that all these elements are available to us as human beings, why is it perhaps not possible for us to also be able to harness these various elements and create food within our own systems? And my incredible lust for all these incredible healing sciences has led me to a Breatharian, Mr. Elitom El Amin. I am so fascinated by this gentleman, and I'm sure that you will be too. Elitom, every single thing about you is fascinating to me. Right? Everything that I've read up on what you're doing, on how you live, on what you preach and what you practice is so out of the box, so surreal. And yet when I see you, it's so real. And I want to first ask you about this incredible science, which is called Breatharian in a sense. I've already talked to the viewers about the various Arians that we have, being non-vegetarian, vegetarian, eggetarian, pescatarian, etc., etc. And now we have with us a Breatharian, right? Awesome. First, tell us, what is a Breatharian?
Well, Breatharian comes from the ancient word anidia, which is the ancient word for fasting. And it means to eat very little or none at all. So the human being could go through a transformation or a development, a process, to where they could get themselves to eat nothing at all on a physical dense level. But we being energy beings on our foundation, you can strengthen up the energy channels that we call chakras or nadis in the body. This isn't far-fetched, to nourish the system instead of going to the denser physical foods.
So when they say you live on love and fresh air, it's literally that.
Absolutely.
So how many of you are there in the world? I know there's only one Elitom El Amin, but when I read up about on your interviews, you'd stated that there were people out there who were Breatharians and they intrigued you and you wanted to learn about them. How many Breatharians actually exist on this planet? I mean, would you put them in tens, hundreds, thousands?
Well, right now, dealing with the active ones, there's about 20 active that's in the mainstream. Most Breatharians are people living on prana, as we call it.
Okay.
It's more in the back front because they don't want the media attention and stuff like this. And it has been growing, so we will put it into the thousands.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a lot of people out there simply functioning on this incredible science, which is, I guess, so akin to synthesis in a way,
Absolutely.
right? So tell me how this works. Just a brief sort of explanation to people out there who A, may not believe, or B, who are really curious and want to know and want to learn, and would love to come to you for a course, but they kind of need to know, what is this all about?
Oh, exactly. All right. Now, we being energy beings, any physicist on the planet could tell you that. for the simple fact, everything we use and do, whether if I'm speaking, seeing, deals with energy. Now, meditation is the foundation of this process. But when you brought up the key word photosynthesis, photo means light, synthesis means combining or putting something together. Now, everybody got the memo that the plant kingdom practices that. But when it comes down to the human being, but then again, they did help us by saying we do get vitamin D from the sun. Now, what that means is that's photosynthesis. So if we could do it on that level, just because they told us that that's what we could get out of it, you could get a lot more off of that same operation of dealing with light touching the body and the body combining it with other chemical reactions to produce what you need.
So Elitom, how does a person make sense of the fact that some people can do it and some people can't? So say, for example, everyone turns around and says, oh, that's great, I don't need food anymore and I want to chuck it up. It's not going to happen for them, right? They're going to basically starve to death, as what is common, right? Commonly known if you deprive yourself of food and nutrition.
Right.
So there was a study by a professor at Oxford who basically said that if a woman had enough chlorophyll on a flat surface area of her skin, it still wouldn't give her more than 1% of the energy that she would actually require to function and to live. So how is it that some people like yourself are able to so easily absorb and synthesize and use this incredible energy, and some people are not equally gifted? Is that the word?
Oh, well, we got to bring up hard work, education. That's all it deals with. Now, the doctor from Harvard, he meant well, but they
Oxford, I think it was.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And they were taught on a biochemical level. That's what the medical profession is off of. So that they deal with food, diets, and stuff like that, because that's the biochemical level.
Right.
But when I said earlier about us being, we're talking from an energetic point of view, energy medicine, which made a great rebound today. And what backs up the Breatharian message is we got machinery now that can show you the electromagnetic field that's coming off the human body to show that we deal with electricity. And the higher the electricity, the higher the magnetism, and vice versa.
Absolutely.
So now what we're saying in the Breatharian message is, like, we could take biophoton therapy, which is a live therapy they're using now, where you're actually using light to fuel the cells of the body. That right there, a bell should go off to tell us a lot.
Well, for the viewers out there, just to let you know that we have about 37 trillion cells in our body, and each cell has a certain volt capacity. So technically, we have about 70 trillion volts of electricity in our body, and that's as per science. Yeah. So, so what Elitom is basically talking about is harnessing that energy, activating that energy. Now, a lot of us cannot activate certain energies, and a lot of us are unable unless shown a path or guided along a certain way to harness that specific energy or to release a specific energy. So what's really interesting when you meet Elitom is you're seeing a living human example of someone who practices what he preaches, and somebody who's been food free for how long, Elitom?
I've been on the path for 20 years.
For 20 years, and no food, no water whatsoever.
And the last 2 years was the no food or no water. Now, there's been many long periods without it. But what I tell people, this is a skill that you develop.
Correct.
When you can pick food up and put it down.
Yes.
That's the skill behind it. Kind of the other person has to be stuck into it. So over the last 20 years dealing with what works, what don't work, different environments, people you're dealing with, social gatherings, you start learning how to socialize yourself without food, but still blend in with people. So that's actually the hard part.
Well, what about temptation? A lot of us may say that's all very well, but we're human beings and we're on this planet having this incredible sensory human experience, right? Where food and what we smell and what we taste and what we touch is equally a part of being human. Why would we want to go food free?
Oh, see, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the hardest part right there. How would you socialize with people?
No, why would you want to be food free?
Oh, for health purposes. See, this is a health message. This is a holistic health message. It isn't a belief system at all. When you say, why could some people pull it off but some not? This is a science of a holistic lifestyle. Now, listen at this now.
This is so nice. He's happy and he's vibrant and he's full of energy, and you meet so many people who eat so much food and yet at the same time they're kind of dead and depleted and exhausted and not energized despite the amount of food that we tend to eat, right? So many times we eat food and we say, oh, I ate too much, I'm lethargic, right?
Go.
And here we have somebody who says you don't need food, you can be high energy and laughing all the time.
So what the Breatharian did, they were a bigger skeptic about the food. It ain't about being food free. I was a skeptic about the food. We got a pandemic taking place on the planet because of food, abusing those energies. So that's where it starts out at, is when a person starts becoming food conscious. He who eat less live longer. So once you can start catching that and start learning meditation on how it deals with breaking up energy blockages, and you can use meditation without no medication to heal yourself if you know what you're doing.
So what would happen in the eventuality that somebody is injured, like a Breatharian gets injured, and then say you go to a hospital and you do not have access to sunlight? What would happen in such a situation? Say if you were put in a drip, would that undo the entire process of all those years that it took you to be completely...
Oh, I could talk on two different levels of this. First of all, everything is mental, because holistic lifestyle deals with a mind-body connection. My body is my mind. This is the way I think. The average person ain't got that. So number one, for me to even be in an accident like that, I wouldn't even be in it. I just got to say that, because you're part of the environment. You should have saw it coming. That's for number one. Now, number two, you do heal quicker than the average person.
Okay.
You should heal quicker because you have a stronger immune system. Most of your energy is just to nourish the organs and keep you alive, while the average person is using a lot of energy to digest the food that they eat all the time. So it takes them longer to heal.
Just off the topic, and I'm very fascinated because a lot of people you see who don't eat food and they're really slim and really lean, etc. But Elitom sitting here has these really cool muscles happening, like all over his body, like he's ripped. Like show, Elitom, show me. Like look at that. I mean, that's amazing. How does that happen? I mean, I know that while growing up in a certain era, you were always told go eat your meat. If you want your protein and you want to go and build your muscles in a gym. Right. And then you came to a point where there were a lot of people, a lot of big heroes, for example, in movies, who decided to go completely vegetarian, and they were equally ripped and equally strong, and everyone sort of looked and said, wow, they're on plant protein. Oh, plants have protein. And now there's you without meat and without plant. How do you get those muscles is what I want to know.
Well, first of all, it's even a science on making muscle. So that's called repetition.
Okay.
Breaking down the muscle and giving it time to rest. So you at least got to put that effort in for number one. Number two, when we said meditation is the foundation, all you did was actually shift energy sources. First, we was using fossil fuels, dead plants and animals, and that gives off a lot of toxicity. Oh, here we go now. Since we went to another fuel source that don't give off toxicity like that, you can use it to actually help build the muscle, because there's water in the atmosphere. It does take training once your body get to a certain level where it does not lose weight anymore. But then you can start actually chipping away at your body, just like any old artwork. This is art. So I do exercise every day. Keep the body toned, keep the muscular, because muscle also stores energy. Oh, we got to keep this in mind. So when you deal with the foundation of a Breatharian, you got what? Meditation, you got fasting, you got exercise, because exercise was taken out of spirituality. You should exercise to detoxify the organs, get the heart beating stronger. And then last but not least is the mindset. See, we are also biocomputers. Oh, here we go now. What you think changes the organism. So one of the great mass effects was, if you don't eat, you'll die, just by somebody telling you that, because the body actually put that program going through the body. So you do have to do a whole thing, rechanging the way you think. Like people will say, you brought up the word protein, but nobody really know what protein is. You don't know what it is.
Tell us what it is according to you.
Well, I don't have to learn now, because I'm living off of something that people say, where you get your protein? I don't even know what it is. All you got to do is sit in the energy and live.
So tell me something, Elitom. There are various, obviously, layers. As you said, for 20 years, you've been practicing the process of becoming a Breatharian to the point that you are completely food and water free.
Right.
So in these processes that you've used along the courses of these years, you've mentioned there was meditation, you mentioned that there's a certain amount of discipline, a certain sort of mind mastery that you need to put onto it, a certain amount of breath control. And obviously there's an element of obviously absorbing nutrition from other sources that are not tangible sources. So I also read that you talked a lot about it is what you wear, the kind of fabrics you put on your body. How does the process work really?
Well, so when we talk about a holistic lifestyle, that word means whole. Most people, when they think of a holistic lifestyle, they just go to diet or a person to start fasting. But when you put the whole lifestyle in, it even deals with social interactions, relationships, because people are nourishing. And we really got to understand this. Some people can drain your energy. Too much negativity come out of you. Basically, it's getting stress and tension, not only out of the physical body, but also out of the emotional body. But what is the emotional body? It is the physical body. It's in it. You got to go in there and clear those blockages, which they call emotional healing, and that brings more light flow through the body. It's all about how the energy is going through the body. The body is a good conductor of energy. This is carbon-based, and we can go on and on and on. But when we feel those different blockages, aches and pains, that's just what it is. The main root cause of all sickness, illness, and disease is the lack of energy in that location that's being blocked and not flowing properly.
So therefore we get into the chakra systems and how all the energetic chakras of our bodies are all in tune and need to function simultaneously, and even one chakra gets blocked, it's a chakra corresponding chakras that also start malfunctioning up and down the whole system. You know, when you talk about absorbing energy, as you said, whether it's social interaction or whether it's interaction from the environment or the sun or, you know, other things that come your way, how do you actually do the process of absorption? How do you actually enable yourself? I know meditation would possibly play a very big role.
This is a good one.
You have two meditations in specific, which are, one is your microcosmic one and one is your roots.
And my Qigong.
Tell me about it.
Oh, well, she asked the key question. How do you absorb the energy? First of all, when we sleep at night, when a person goes to sleep, they're absorbing energy. See, sleep is unconscious meditation. When you relax, that's why all meditations, the things they got in common is get comfortable and get in a relaxed position. Once you do that, your body by its nature automatically start getting the energy it needs.
Okay. These meditations that you teach, I'm really keen on explaining this clearly to the viewers, because a lot of them will be filled with a lot of skepticism and disbelief, and there'll be a lot of but how, and like, say for example, you and me are sitting here right now without our chappals on, without any footwear, and you never roam around with footwear because you believe in absorbing earth energy, right? So basically it's like a plant in a sense, right? When you have like your photosynthesis happening with your branches spread out, and you have your feet down to the earth, down your roots are developing, and then you have this openness through mind mastery to the infinite consciousness, and you have and sort of on multiple levels you're eating, breathing, and living earth energy, air energy, light energy, and all of that. So all these elements are available to you, and I guess there are different receptors, right? So I always give this example, which is if you have a set-top box in your home, right? There are like 500 TV channels happening around you, and you have a set-top box that instantly decodes the frequencies and it sort of seamlessly relays that onto a screen, right? We don't have the frequencies to tap into that, but that does. Similarly, there are a lot of people like Elitom who've mastered through processes of meditation and mind mastery, etc., the ability to channel and harness certain frequencies and to tap into certain frequencies, right? So the ability to do that, very much like, say, the process of Reiki, when a master attunes you and suddenly you're accessing different dimensions that you never before thought were humanly possible. But when you actually do that and experience that, and you're kind of blown away at, how did I do that? Do I have superpowers? But the fact is, it's not about having a superpower. It's simply about having the ability to tune in differently, to raise your frequencies differently, which of course, as Elitom has shown us in many ways, is done through what you eat or don't eat, your exposure to the outside world, your environment, your thoughts, which play a very important role in frequencies as well. So Elitom, what is it that you would like to tell our viewers about being a Breatharian? Why should they come and do this incredible course with you? Why should everybody out there give up their delicious butter chickens and fish fillets and beef fillets, and why would they want to do that? Give them incentive, give them good reason. 3 good reasons to become a Breatharian.
Well, I'll tell you why. One thing for sure, you'll have it under your belt for when you need it. You got the information and you'll have it. So you can enjoy your food until one day and say, uh-oh, I done went overboard. And then you know what to do in your procedures to better your health. Because your health is your responsibility. That's what it boils down to. And when you talk about the electromagnetic field that comes off the body, some people's are more brighter than others. But it's your responsibility to keep your electromagnetic field healthy. So when you can get off of me is that knowledge for when you need it. But the main thing for sure, nobody gets away from, how should I say, health. Nobody gets away from dealing with being conscious on what you're eating or overeating. So you need to learn those things on some discipline in that area if you want to live a full, healthier life.
It still hasn't answered the question whether you need to get off their favorite things and what are the benefits you would get from being a breatharian.
Oh, the benefits
Come on.
is
See, I mean, okay.
full energy, clarity of thought. You'll have energy to carry out things. You won't have no aches and pains in the body. That shows a high vibration. That's what I'm teaching them now. No aches and pains in the body. You got rid of them because you know what put them there. Those are the benefits. Oh, man.
See, now we're talking.
Now we're talking. Oh, my gosh. Why wouldn't you want that?
Why do you wear
your wealth.
Why do you wear this turban on your head? Isn't that your solar panel?
Oh, yeah, but see. I got so much energy. No, I don't want it to escape this everywhere. To be like this. So I keep it enclosed so it can keep on coming up and down and feed me. There's a method for it. Yeah, I got a lot of energy, man.
So marine biologists have discovered that this incredible green, vivid sea slug called the Elysia chlorotica, right? Basically, it looks like a leaf. It absorbs energy from the sun and does photosynthesis just like a leaf. But in fact, the sea slug is an animal. There is no possible way that an animal could have a process of photosynthesis in its being. And it seems to happen because it consumes an algae. And this algae, now this all sounds very interesting to me. This algae is something that this sea slug uses its DNA, pirates the DNA of this algae. And it is the only case known yet to science of how you can take the DNA of another organism and use it and adapt it to your own body, as the sea slug does. Now, to me, that is fascinating. If one organism and one creature, which is termed an animal, can do it, there's infinite possibilities of what else is possible and species doing the same. And therefore, it is perhaps also possible that as human beings, if we choose to adopt some sort of similar mechanism, that there perhaps might be a way to do so. So sea slugs are not the only creatures that have stolen these solar secrets from the plant kingdom. You also, for example, have the pea aphid, which charges a solar-powered backpack using light-harvesting pigments called carotenoids. And then we have the spotted salamander that uses algae to solar power its embryos as they develop inside eggs. And then we also have the oriental hornet, which might use a similar trick utilizing a pigment called xanthopterin to convert light energy to electricity. But neither of these creatures are actually photosynthetic in nature because they do not have the ability to convert carbon dioxide into sugar. After meeting Mr. El Amin, one is actually convinced that there are so many different dimensions of our existence which are perhaps unexplored. Yes, science doesn't have the answers to everything, and science is also learning. It's a catch-up kind of situation where the more we learn about the world of quantum physics, the more we discover not just about human beings, but our existence in totality with the entire universe and cosmos, and how we are directly linked and interrelated to all of it. Hello and welcome to Quick Bites with Pooja and Happy Soul, and here we have with us Elitom. Elitom, it was a fantastic session with you. We enjoyed the entire discussion. We have quick bites for you based on what we have discussed. Number one, people want to know, do you go to the restroom?
The only thing that comes out is what goes in. So if you don't put nothing in, nothing's coming out like that.
Very interesting. And how many hours, Elitom, do you sleep?
About 2 hours a night. That's if you ain't got nothing going on. So if you got something going on, you're so hyped up and busy, you just keep going because our bodies, our spinal cord is like a battery. It always charging itself up with energy. So you actually sleep less just coming with the breatharian knowledge. Because there is knowledge you can eradicate sleep altogether also.
Very interesting. Okay. When you spoke about your 18 years towards food freedom and the last 2 years of food freedom.
Right.
How difficult was that journey for you of 18 years?
Oh, that was actually easy. It was
Liar!
It was easy. It was easy because the only thing you're asking yourself is, what do I want to let go? That's what it is. When do I want to let go? Because we're too busy playing around with life experiences. That's all it is.
So then why did it take you 18 years?
Because I missed my experiences. I was like, I'm scared.
So it wasn't easy.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. All right, I'll fess up.
So, Elitom, a large part about being a Breatharian is the fact that you're absorbing all this incredible sunlight, which is prana and chi, and it really nourishes your entire body and system. What about those people who cannot go in the sun? You have very good melanin content, clearly, and you're able to absorb the sun rays differently. What about those people who have very sensitive skin? And what about the possibilities of skin cancer, therefore, when attempting to be a Breatharian?
Well, nature got it all figured out. Because we're living in an electromagnetic field of the sun. Everybody is. Everybody's living off the sun directly or indirectly. Now, some people with the higher melanin content is because their genealogy is closer to the sun, to the equator. The further you move away, people have the ability to pull more energy from the earth. You got electrons coming from the earth, but everybody's still tropical inside. That's why everywhere we go, even in the coldest regions of the planet, we created tropical atmosphere.
Okay, so what you're saying basically is that there are those people that are able to harness it directly from the sun, and they're saying that other people, those who cannot possibly be out there in the sun, could get it from earth energy.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, that's why they show us the yin and yang sign. It'll equal out the same. So everybody has the ability to be food free.
That's really interesting. Thank you so much for that.
Oh man, awesome.
Quick Bites with Elitom. Really, really amazing, incredible human being, very inspirational, something for all of us to learn.
This is Elitom El Amin, and I'm a Breatharian. And I'm so happy and great to be here. And I hope you will like, share, and subscribe this interview. Have a wonderful and beautiful day.